Oh? Huh. It would appear I can no longer rely on Shikishima. Miss Morimura, why did you have to die? Miss Morimura's death has left the Shikishima execs in disarray. Now they won't let me spearhead the Sentinel project, as if I'm just a child. I doubt my opinion will weigh much in their discussions going forward. Ayame Park, please. Ever since the battle that ended with the Sentinels infected, Miss Morimura has been pushing this operation as one of its fiercest supporters. This refers to the humans who can control the UFO's mainframe. Those compatible have nanomachines implanted in their bodies.
That was pretty quick, Goto-kun.
I checked the corpse at the police station. It was yours, Miss Morimura. There's no doubt about it.
Is that so?
You don't seem too shocked about your death.
Well, it didn't exactly stop me. Here I am, safe and sound.
I suppose that's true.
So, what did the police say?
The cause of death was a gunshot to the abdominal area. No bullet was found in the body. Though it's easy to imagine why. The murder weapon was likely from beyond this time, beyond material bullets. Estimated time of death is approximately 1900 hours. You were witnessed running off somewhere with a short-haired student. According to a pedestrian's eyewitness account, anyway.
They found a witness. This era's police really did their due diligence.
There should have been that drone tracking her movement. So, anything helpful in its footage?
The timing couldn't have been worse. It looks like it was monitoring the government's movement at the time. So she wasn't even under surveillance.
I see.
Any thoughts as to our primary suspect? Who do you think did it?
Well... an acquaintance of Miss Morimura. Described as a short-haired male in a student uniform. Most likely A. Sekigahara. The witness statement matches the description of A. Sekigahara.
It did seem like something was wrong with A. Sekigahara's memories. I wouldn't be surprised if he was our murderer.
Though it raises the question of why he'd bother to lure her out. Surely a murderer's optimal scenario is to avoid being spotted at all.
Well, maybe it wasn't premeditated. He could have killed her by accident.
Well, he certainly is the type to brood over things. I can say he's not enough of an idiot to shoot someone on impulse.
Who else could it be? That man with that... call sign? Some numerical name.
Logically speaking, he would naturally be another potential suspect. He did attempt to eradicate all the compatibles. He's a dangerous individual, and he's still at large. All that's left of 426 is his consciousness. I don't think I could reliably predict his behavior. He's desperate enough to do anything. 426 certainly isn't above killing. If Ida-san were here, I'm sure he'd declare 426 our primary suspect.
We know he killed at least 4 people. That's why I shot him dead in the end. If he resurrected himself as an android, maybe that would give him a chance at revenge. As a motive, it sounds pretty clear-cut.
Aside from Miss Morimura and Ida-san, 4 others came here for refuge 16 years ago. By the time I'd started assisting Miss Morimura's efforts, they'd already lost their physical bodies. Fortunately, we were able to use the data stored in Sector 0. This allowed us to meld their replicated consciousness with AI. As for how they lost their bodies in the first place, reportedly 426 is doing. He destroyed them all in one fell swoop. According to Ida-san's account, anyway. But if number 16 is to be believed, that's not what really happened. And Miss Morimura should be aware of that. Aside from Miss Morimura and Ida-san, 4 others came here for refuge 16 years ago. By the time I'd started assisting Miss Morimura's efforts, they'd already lost their physical bodies. Fortunately, we were able to use the data. This allowed us to meld their replicated consciousness with AI. As for how they lost their bodies in the first place, reportedly 426 is doing. He destroyed them all in one fell swoop. According to Ida-san's account, anyway. But if number 16 is to be believed, that's not what really happened. And Miss Morimura should be aware of that. I spoke with the pilot of Sentinel number 16. Back then, she gave Miss Morimura something nobody else would. The truth. He did attempt to eradicate all the compatibles. He's a dangerous individual, and he's still at large. All that's left of 426 is his consciousness. I don't think I could reliably predict his behavior. I spoke with the pilot. Back then, she gave Miss Morimura the truth.
Wait, what do you mean? Could you go over that again?
Our defensive maneuvers failed. So we decided to stick to the plan. We all headed to the gate to escape. But there was an explosion while we were shifting. From what I can tell, the Type 98 we were shifting in got attacked. But that's the last thing I remember. After that, nothing.
But that means... is that how your data was damaged? It wasn't some plot by 426 after all? Just an explosion? We never did manage to completely reconstruct your data. I thought it was just that you didn't get converted in time, but... You were all dead before the shift even happened. Ida-kun, you said he killed the 4 of them. I know you did. You said he sabotaged them, killed them.
Given the chance, he certainly would have.
You lied to me?
He already tried to kill us all in the past. You know he'd have tried again if we left him alive. Killing him was the right call.
No. That means...
Miss Morimura, I have one more question.
What is it?
Regarding 426, would you say you had any particular feelings toward him?
Feelings? Well, he was certainly a good friend. I felt like he really understood me. Well, used to, anyway. Where's this coming from?
That doesn't make sense. According to number 18, or should I say, Tamao-san, I had a hunch about Miss Morimura's feelings. And my discussion with Tamao-san only confirmed my suspicions.
Goto-kun. I'm sorry for this. I know it's sudden. I need to talk to you.
Did something happen?
It's about Morimura-san. She's been transplanting 426's memories onto Jiro-kun. I only just found out.
426? As in the escaped android?
No, not that one. She's using the memory data of the man himself. It was saved during the shift.
In other words, she's trying to use Jiro to create another 426?
I did my best to talk her down. She's letting me handle Jiro-kun's treatment now. Still, I don't think she's given up on this.
Why is she trying to bring back 426?
Well, I've been giving her some advice about it. And I understand where she's coming from, but... Morimura-san is in love with him.
With 426?
Maybe she always has been. That's why she wants him back as a human.
But she has to know the risks. He's a dangerous man.
True, but that's not exactly what she's remembering. Besides, she's the one who killed him. That guilt is still eating at her. Watch over Morimura-san. And try to keep her away from Jiro-kun if you can.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you. I can barely take the idea of one 426, let alone two.
So I was right. Miss Morimura did have feelings for someone. So you believe 426 is the most likely suspect?
Barring A. Sekigahara, who else could it be?
4 victims.
I'd like to revisit something you just mentioned. About 426 killing at least 4 individuals. Do you really not remember?
Remember what?
You've read my files, I presume? I gathered quite a lot of material in the past. Most of it is rather outdated, including Ida-san's statement concerning those victims. In other words, your answer is objectively incorrect.
Really? Well, can you blame me? Look at this body I'm stuck with. I'm bound to have some memories confused.
When Jiro Izumi lost his memories, you aimed to use him to revive 426. Make one a vessel for the other. One reason seems most likely. You harbored romantic feelings for him.
Me? With him? You're joking. That Chihiro Morimura was mind-hacked, remember? You said so yourself.
If you recall, I suggested that Miss Morimura was mind-hacked. That idea was based on a certain piece of evidence I found. One particular log.
What log?
If you really are Miss Morimura, then you should already know. 2 years before you were born, Ida-san extracted some information from 426 that in turn led to the discovery of the data log in question. As for the log itself, it contains footage from the year 2188. It was found buried in the mainframe data during the analysis of 426. You seem very disturbed by me seeing that file. So much so, in fact, that you ended up deleting all of your logs. Would you mind telling me why you did that?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, at the very least, its contents suggested a connection to 426. Or even that he had been manipulating Miss Morimura. The log contained a very interesting report. Apparently, Jiro Izumi downloaded memories onto Chihiro Morimura's clone. The log inconveniently revealed one of your secrets. One you were desperate to keep me away from. So you deleted it. That's my theory, anyway. Remember where this all began? It was the compatibility experiment. The one that produced you. Based off Miss Morimura's footage and your own admissions, I've completely misjudged the situation. All this time, I believed you were her. But even from the very beginning, you've been your own person.
So, what are you saying? I'm not Chihiro Morimura? If I'm not a duplicate of Chihiro Morimura, then who exactly do you think I am?
You are Chihiro Morimura.
Well, there you have it.
No, not Miss Morimura, the teacher. Professor Chihiro Morimura. The one from the year 2188. And the central figure of Shikishima's interstellar development project.
Aegis activation confirmed. The terminal is completely sealed off.
We did it.
They've changed targets. The next terminal is just over there.
They're already on the move.
Can't even let us catch our breath, huh?
I haven't hit my operating limit yet, but I'm going to dismount.
Whoa, hey, then who's taking point?
Pull it together. We don't need orders to kick some ass.
like it was back then. It's beautiful. I'm guessing you were monitoring me with a drone?
I have one locked on to you, yes. Their target's changed. They're coming back this way. It's dangerous here. We need to get you to safety.
Aw, don't tell me you're worried about me. How about you mind your own business? You already know how I feel. This is what I wanted.
Still.
More importantly, can you really afford to waste your time here? Or have you already given up? The invasion is still in its preliminary phase.
I've got time. First, I need to get you somewhere safe.
There are no safe places left. At least, none left for us. We're not safe anywhere. But you know that well enough. You're just losing precious time. Go focus on the job you're supposed to be doing.
Understood. I'll go. You'll find it safer towards the river. If, hypothetically, you wanted to know.
Wait. As long as we're both here, there's something I want to clear up. So, tell me. You were in love with Miss Morimura, weren't you? You said she was mind-hacked. But it was more about you being jealous, wasn't it?
That's hardly...
This may be our last chance to talk. Answer me.
You are correct. Is that what you wanted to hear? That I was driven by some cheap, naive impulse? That I can't think about anything else?
And that's why you brought back my memory too, isn't it? You never cared how you managed to do it. You just wanted her back.
So much.
I'm glad. You really were a slave to your desires. That's the Renya Gouto I remember. It means I don't have to like you after all. Thank you. I think that's all I wanted to hear.
Professor,
You should go. After all, we still have our bet. Although it looks like I'm about to win it.
Activate Sentinel.
What's wrong? Did you get separated from your mommy? Could you leave me alone? It's dangerous out here. Just come with me, okay? Will you just... What are you... Don't worry. If you can't find your mommy, I can help you look. We just have to run away right now, okay? Oh, there you are, Miwako. Asami-chan! I'm so glad you're okay. Jeez, you're so reckless. You shouldn't have come this way.
Kisaragi, that girl is...
I know already. I'll get back to the battle once Miwako's safe. Is someone else here? Of course not. Never mind. The evacuation route's that way. Can I bring her too? Hey! That's fine, just hurry up. Great. I know this is my first time here, but this suddenly makes me feel so nostalgic.
Sunsets will do that, I find, regardless of time period.
Yes, but this must be... Well, I suppose it must be one of those places. So, where am I going?
I've rented an apartment under a false name.
Can't be any worse than our last accommodations. As long as it's not rubble, I'll take it.
My apologies. If it's any comfort, I'm certain nobody will find you there. Not Shikishima, and certainly not Miss Morimura. I suppose we have Ida-san to thank for all this. The funds and paperwork he prepared were invaluable.
Tetsuya Ida. And he's still missing, is he?
Yes. Let's go. Chihiro-san.
You think I'm the professor?
That is what I said. You are Professor Chihiro Morimura, a major figure in Shikishima in the year 2188. Namely, the leader of its space initiative.
What are you even talking about?
Just some hypotheticals. A possible interpretation of the evidence I found. Ever since the battle that ended, Miss Morimura has been pushing this...
Okay, say I am the professor. Remember, Miss Morimura is the one who created me. You think that was her plan? She wanted a host for the professor and not herself? How would that make sense?
Miss Morimura ran an experiment to grant her clone compatibility. She believed that you were synchronized to her. She believed it was her own data she transmitted. But it was the other Chihiro Morimura in Sector 0. And of course, you entered the world as a newborn, incapable of verbal communication. So Miss Morimura never realized her mistake.
This is all speculation.
Certainly, yes. But if I'm right, and you are the professor, I imagine you were in quite a panic yourself. All things considered, it was a staggering deviation from the original plan.
What original plan?
Among the logs from 2188, one of Tetsuya Ida's noted that he'd found an anomaly. Chihiro Morimura was set to undergo a memory transplant in the final phase. And the final phase, well, that would be us.
I don't know where you think you're going with this.
A bit of patience, please. There's a little more context I need to provide.
I don't know where you think you're going with this.
A bit of patience, please. There's a little more context I need to provide.
Future log.
The log from the future I saw first. That would be the comms log I found with my own ID. The first log I checked held some surprises. The author seemed to be an elderly Renya Gouto. And the date of recording appeared to be 2188. I assumed it was some future version of myself. One that had time traveled into the far future. But now, I don't think that's the case. I believe it's the other way around. In other words, I myself am a clone of him. Every individual I saw in that log footage, they all created clones of themselves.
Clones. Huh?
I did find a log that proves this point.
What did you see?
A comms log between you and Professor Takamiya. Her field is genetic engineering, I note.
Professor Takamiya, how are the projections on those self-replicating probes?
The simulations look good. Especially the survey range. We never expected a rate of expansion that high. It was definitely the right call to prioritize its strength as a group over individual units. These probes are pretty much living machines now. They self-replicate using natural resources mined from asteroids in their routing. They'll just keep building up and breaking down. An infinite cycle of self-replication on its way to its target. There's basically zero chance of the tech failing midway through. They'll just keep on going. Probably long after humanity's gone.
Glad I came to an expert then. All that's left is the refinement of the memory cube.
The infrastructural storage cell, right?
The cube's made up of 5 identical memory layers. In theory, it'll compare itself to nearby probes and use them as a template for repairs.
And if it can't be repaired, well... fine, 1 probe down. We've got thousands more.
And our passengers?
I'll be loading them up with the DNA of all the survivors. I've already got samples and data from all 15. Now it's just down to launching them.
These clones will go with all our hopes on their shoulders.
By the way, what do we do about him? I mean, after that DNA test.
We do nothing. He doesn't have to know. What could I even say to him?
Not much, I guess.
There were 15 survivors of that colony, each with a clone established to be compatible. Though they grew up in different eras, different worlds. And you aimed to replace your clone's memories with your own. That was your real plan. Right now, I imagine your biggest question is precisely how much of that log I've seen. Am I close? You do have a genius mind, but also the form of a child. I imagine it's harder than usual to hide your agitation.
It's absolutely not... Now you're just trying to trick me?
I'd say, based on that log, Professors Takamiya and Morimura seem to know each other quite well. Maybe you know something about that.
Of course not.
Then perhaps instead, Tsukasa Okino? Being compatible, that makes one part of his identity clear. He's one of the 15 from the year 2188. So, any theories? Who was he in the year 2188? Care to guess?
Stop it.
No? Then allow me to clarify. That boy, Tsukasa Okino, is Professor Chihiro Morimura's son. But not her child by personal, conventional birth. The professor donated her egg cells as a young woman, in accordance with the policies on population control. Their blood relation wasn't exactly obvious, until DNA testing on the clone revealed it. The professor was faced with the truth. He was her son, which naturally sparked an inconvenient surge of maternal instinct. However, Okino himself didn't think highly of the professor. He had his disagreements with the project staff, too. When it seemed like her end was near, the professor recorded him one final message. One last chance for him to know the truth.
Stop! You saw that? But how? You'd need a biometric ID match to access that log. So you should only have been able to access your own. My logs and Okino's should have been locked off.
Thank you, Professor Morimura. Indeed, the files I could access were somewhat limited. Mostly company logs. Meeting reports, call transcripts, bureaucratic chaff. Barely anything in the way of your personal records.
Then, how do you know what was in my logs?
It's simple, really. That should do it for preparations. Now, let's see if the biometric authentication works. Did it go through? Looks like that got me past the initial barrier, at least. Now, with Miss Morimura's ID, I should be able to get into her logs. Maybe, if I check Miss Morimura's logs, I might find a clue why your biometric ID matches hers. It really is her ID.
Yori Fuyusaka?
Though unconscious, she proved very helpful. She is Chihiro Morimura, a compatible version. If you really are Miss Morimura, then you should already know who Iori Fuyusaka is. Because that would mean you hid her here in Sector 4. The plan was for the two newborns to grow up with their own separate lives. Ida-san's idea, presumably. Chihiro Morimura was planned to be placed in 2104, and Tetsuya Ida in 2024, yet neither could be found.
I knew Renya Gouto of Shikishima pretty well. You and he are very different. Except that you both make my life a lot harder. So, suppose I am the professor. Then what?
I want to know the truth. I want to know the reasons behind all of this. But that seems unlikely. I imagine you're not inclined to tell me anything.
And why's that?
It'd be inconvenient for you if we had all the facts. Considering you're trying to eliminate us. From the very beginning, you never intended for this world to survive. Oh? Huh.
terminal's the other way. Oh, that's Sentinel. That's gotta be Iori. Hey, Iori, what's going on? Iori-chan? They all appeared on this side out of nowhere. Just keep running. That's easy to say, but where are we even supposed to run? Miwako, I'm sorry I couldn't get you somewhere safer, but I'll handle this. Usami-chan? Logical. Just so you know, I didn't want to do this. I'm gonna try something. Honestly. Goto-kun! I know you can see me! You've got a drone up, right? I need you here right now! Goto? You don't mean... Goto-kun! Renya Gouto? Yup. So you know him too? There you are. Goto-senpai! Where did you come from?
Chihiro-san, why did you call for me?
My senior ID can get me access to the higher level commands. But I still need the biometric authentication to get it started. So I'll need your help. Though, it's not a favor for me. I'm the one who's going to be helping all of you, in the end. Don't move.
Are you trying to shift from here?
I need you to step away. We're inside the underground UFO. The Sector 4 mainframe.
What are you trying to achieve?
Maximum hypocrisy. Once I'm done here, your fight might get just a little easier. Get on the shifter already. I've established a connection to the system. My senior credentials should take care of the rest. Thank you. I didn't think you'd come back for me. I'm shifting you back. Now, let's get started, shall we? All units fighting the Kaiju. Can you hear me?
Who's that? How'd you get on this channel?
Huh? Wait, you're the gloomy Miwako was helping.
Chihiro. Is that you, Chihiro?
I'm Chihiro Morimura. What?
That's our teacher's name.
I'm going to evacuate the populace all at once. Readouts say 1.2 million people in Sector 4. They'll all be force shifted to the year 2025. As in Sector 3.
To the year 2025? You're shifting over 1 million people?
So you don't have to worry about any civilian casualties. That's all.
Wait a minute, Chihiro!
Initializing shift. Isn't this... That should be everyone. Unbelievable. Absolutely ridiculous. Why am I doing this?
Oh, I went through.
What's the meaning of this? How did you gain access? Explain yourself.
I'm Takatoshi Hijiyama. I just have one favor to ask of you.
A favor?
Well, it's kind of complicated, but I'm actually asking on behalf of someone else. A young man by the name of Okino.
Tsukasa Okino?
This data is that you, Gouto? It's been a while. The last time I saw you was 2 months before my death. Roughly a year ago, I think. Chairman Ogata. An AI construct based on Chairman Kengo Ogata. Why would this be in Morimura's files? I see. So this is how she managed to raise all those funds. She must have used this AI to access the Shikishima chairman's hidden network. Not quite. I'm afraid that was originally my idea. The good Professor Morimura was only following my orders. So all of this was by design? Your design? Leaking the prototype nanomachinery to the black market? The catastrophic consequences. You're the one who exploited her. If you blame anyone, blame yourself. We were so close to losing Project Ark entirely. Now we must prioritize the project above all else. I'll finally have my second chance at life. You were planning on downloading yourself into a clone. A brave new Earth is waiting for me. I won't let you do this. What is Professor Morimura doing now? She's dead. By that hitman's hands, I presume. That's humanity. Self-destructive to the very end. Only a few survivors left now. I give them 3 days at most. My deepest condolences for your imminent death. Shut up, Construct. Your project is over. Unfortunately for you, the Ark is already set off. It's still within comms range. You don't have clearance. I refuse to let an AI control the future of humanity. Out of the survivors, the ones who would have clearance.
So, suppose I am the professor. Then what?
I want to know the truth. I want to know the reasons behind all of this. But that seems unlikely. I imagine you're not inclined to tell me anything.
And why's that?
It'd be inconvenient for you if we had all the facts. Considering you're trying to eliminate us. From the very beginning, you never intended for this world to survive. 3 months prior to the Newman Inc. incident, Newman was acquired by the conglomerate Shikishima. With these interlocutors, apparently some kind of nanomachine information technology, they've become one of the world's top megacorps. This refers to the humans who can control the UFO's mainframe. Those compatible have nano... If Operation Eat, a world reset will know this operation goes against Professor Morimura's agenda. She will stop at nothing to prevent it.
You think I'm trying to destroy the world?
I do.
So you think I'm enabling the Kaiju now? Even though I've got more reason to hate them than any of you?
That is true, at least. You're clearly not on the Kaiju's side. After all, they are a threat to your primary objective, which would be to carry out the plan you formed in 2188. However, that plan may now be untenable. The situation has deviated too drastically. Recall when I brought you to the underground UFO? I believe you said something like, it was out of your hands.
This is the mainframe of the UFO?
Yes.
Honestly, Okino-kun, you can't take anything else in life seriously. So why do you put so much time into all this?
Okino.
Just talking to myself. More importantly, look at this mess. Something unpleasant must have happened here.
Most likely. A Shikishima android. Probably left here by Ida-san. They've all been shot. External damage suggests the weapon was a phaser. They're all out of commission. Too damaged to function.
I see. Let's get started then.
Is it really possible?
I have a fairly comprehensive grasp of this system. This abnormality all comes down to the decode, right? I should be able to get rid of it.
Why would Miss Morimura push for Operation Aegis if this was an option all along?
Well, you said it yourself. She's either being controlled by someone, or she could be trying to save herself.
That's not right. Hold on. That file system hadn't even been analyzed yet. How did you gain access?
I have a senior admin ID. Access privileges for the entire system.
You somehow got access to an account that high level?
Yes, I have my ways. This is no good. Sector 3's mainframe has been damaged in an attack. It's barely operational. I won't be able to process much here. Well, not much choice. I'll have to send direct instructions to the command ship.
Command ship?
The mothership in orbit. It can send commands directly to the UFO.
Is it? An Ark? Some grand design from the people of the future?
Either that or a base of operations for an alien invasion. The comms channel to the command ship is cut off. Must be hiding somewhere beyond the horizon. Looks like about 35 minutes until the comms reconnect. But we don't have that long. Time to find another link.
Will this fix cut off the Kaiju's attacks?
It should be able to solve the problem at its core. However, we can't stop any commands that were already processed. That's out of my hands.
Which means we'll still have to deal with the Kaiju already generated. We don't know how many the factories have produced. If we could just verify their numbers. We're going to need the Sentinels after all.
That may be best. Operation Aegis is too much of a risk.
In other words, the decode's activation is a blow you cannot recover from. No matter how you try to fix it, your plan is irreversibly impacted. The most direct fix would be eliminating the decode. Then, you would just restart the loop anew. In order to trigger a loop, you need them to destroy all the sector's mainframes. And therein lies your goal. You want this world destroyed so the timeline can be reset. But you have one major obstacle, and that's Operation Aegis. Aegis isn't just an ordinary defense system. It causes a terminal to seal itself off in self-defense, preventing anyone from using it to control the world. Once all the terminals are sealed off, we'll be severed from the mainframe, effectively preventing any further loop or extinction. But if that happens, your plan is null and void. We'd be stuck in a loop where your goal was impossible. Let's backtrack a little bit. We discussed the suspect of Miss Morimura's murder, and you asked me who I think did it. If you actually are Professor Chihiro Morimura, then I believe you personally murdered Miss Morimura.
Did I now?
She was a staunch advocate of Operation Aegis. A thorn in your side, someone in the way of your reset.
An interesting theory, if also an incorrect one.
Believe me, I understand why you'd view me with hostility. Certainly Renya Gouto was responsible for chasing you out of Newman, even if it was on Shikishima's behalf, a buyer simply eliminating liabilities. After that, you took the lead on Project Arc, under Kengo Ogata's oversight. Kengo Ogata, of course, being Nenji Ogata's father, and Shikishima's chairman, who recognized your talent. He passed away in 2187. His age caught up with him. But the other Kengo Ogata is perhaps more relevant. The one you created after his death using his memories. An AI construct. You were letting it control you.
I was just getting advice. Dug that out of a log, too?
Yes. Renya Gouto found that AI. The log was recorded in the colony after your death. Once your clone reaches 18 years of age, you set it so that she'd download your memories. It's clear this project was not a selfish endeavor. I'm sure you felt a sense of duty to save humanity. But you were also trying to bring Kengo Ogata back to life. So Professor Morimura takes over Chihiro Morimura's clone. And presumably, Kengo Ogata would take over Nenji Ogata's clone. That's why you're so intent on sticking to the plan. Certainly, from your perspective, Miss Morimura was expendable. She had to die. Her very survival endangered your ultimate goal.
Well, that is a shame. This isn't ideal, but you know too much. Goodbye. Initiating metaskill analysis. This shouldn't take too long.
Whoa.
I'll send you the data once it's ready.
That would be great.
But I must say, this is a surprise. Okino-kun really managed to push this through? Integrating this half-coded thing into the control system?
Thank you. No, well, Okino wanted to tell you that. Thank you.
Okino-kun said that?
He said the analysis wasn't complete yet. So he appreciates your help with all this.
I see.
To look at you, anyone might think you were just a child. But you must be a truly exceptional individual. The message was Okino's, and I'd like you to know I'm grateful as well. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must return to the battle.
That boy. So he appreciates me, does he? Well, that is a shame. This isn't ideal, but you know too much. Goodbye.
You cannot shoot me with that gun. So anyone who knows the truth of Aegis is a liability to you. And liabilities must be dealt with. Does that sum it up? If Operation A World Reset, this operation, she will stop it. This refers to the humans who could, those compatible have nanomachines. 3 months prior to the Newman was acquired. With these, they've become one of the... If you recall, I specifically acquired this gun for your purposes. You had concerns about self-defense.
I can guess what happens next. Now you're going to use it to shoot me.
Perhaps I wasn't clear. For safety reasons, neither one of us can be shot with this gun. I configured it very specifically. As I suspected, this gun records the time of its last discharge. And that time looks to be a near match for Miss Morimura's estimated time of death. Which suggests you used this gun to murder her. Now, on the day of the crime, you yourself were using the drone to keep tabs on Miss Morimura, weren't you? Based off of your expenses for that day, I presume you took a taxi to the crime scene.
How much do you have in that pocketbook? Were you just playing dumb this whole time? When did you realize? What gave away that I was the professor and not her?
There was a specific moment. It was back when Miura found you here. You described Miura as an excellent design engineer. But the Miura of 2188 was the design engineer, not him.
Did you dig that out of Renya Gouto's log too?
No. That I learned through Miura, the AI of Sentinel number 17. He also told me about the existence of the logs.
So, what happens to me now? If you're not killing me, I assume you're at least locking me up?
Considering what you did to Miss Morimura, I'm admittedly conflicted. But giving into my emotional reaction wouldn't solve anything. Vengeance isn't going to bring her back. So, with that in mind, I would rather choose the path that gets me closer to the truth. That is what I want now. To see what lies at the end of all this. To see what she never could. You told an obvious lie. You made it clear Jiro Izumi was not your cup of tea. Yet you and Izumi shared an intimate relationship in the year 2188. That was clear enough from all the evidence I found. Even the placement seemed intentional. You and Izumi, together in Sector 1. You died before you could set up the memory transplant. At that point, I can only assume, Izumi sympathized with you and helped carry out your vision. I can certainly understand Kengo Ogata's motive. He just wants to live again. But you, why are you so intent on transplanting your memory?
Because there has to be a leader. Without someone to guide them, teams dissolve into fear, spite, resentment. It'd be the colony all over again.
I see. As I suspected. Your devotion to this goal is inspiring, in some ways. Are you a gambling woman? I'd like to propose a bet. We'll leave the terminals alone for you. We won't let Aegis seal everything off. Your loop would still be viable.
And in exchange?
As it currently stands, it'd be impossible to revert to your original plan without some compromise. But consider this. Even this final phase won't truly be the end. We'll have plenty of struggles beyond it. Plenty more pain ahead of us. If we can prove to you that we will overcome that, if we prove to you that we can face the unknown, then are we not worthy to take up your cause, inheriting your goal, and seeing it through?
You make an interesting point.
We can solve this problem ourselves. So my proposal is this. Let us fight our war. No sabotage. If we fail, then I could hardly object to a reset anyway.
That's your bet? You don't stand a chance.
Well, I suppose we'll see about that. Aegis activated. Is anyone too compromised to keep fighting?
We've barely had a moment to breathe. The girls may be pushing their limits.
I'm still okay. I can keep fighting.
There are 3 terminals remaining. We can protect 2 of them with Aegis. But we're on our own with the last terminal.
How much longer do we need to hold out?
We need to re-establish a connection with Miyuki Inaba. That's still 10 hours off.
10 hours we don't have. But her plan is our last hope.
Then we fight to the last, until we have nothing left.
The Kaiju are heading for the next terminal.
Brace yourself, Keitaro. We are soldiers, and this is the moment we trained for. Hours, days, it doesn't matter. We'll hold the line. Let's go.
Chihiro-san. You're listening, aren't you? If you're out there, please respond. Chihiro-san.
What is it now?
You know a way to link up with the command ship. One that doesn't rely on its position, don't you?
You're thinking of when I revised the decode.
Right now, we need that shortcut.
And this is where you reveal some new leverage over me. I can't wait to hear what log you found this time.
No. This time, I'm asking a favor.
You have to be joking. You do realize the position I'm already in?
I do. Even still, all I can do is beg. I just want us to have a chance.
This is the most idiotic... I lied to you, you know. Do you know which lie I'm talking about?
Not this time.
when I said I wasn't going to like you. You're an infuriating man, Renya Gouto.
Chihiro-san.
Ready? Everyone, listen to me. We can communicate with the command ship out of range. I'm realigning the 3 surveillance satellites to their relay positions. We should be connected soon. However, the satellites have to move outside their preset tracks. They'll enter the gravity well and plummet to Earth. Your connection will only last until they hit the surface. You'll barely have any time to do this. Am I clear?
Thank you.
Honestly, humans can be so irrational. Though, I guess, I might be the most irrational one here. If you actually manage to pull this off, then I expect you all to take responsibility.
Chihiro.
Good luck, big brother. Almost connected. This is your only chance. Initiating communication.